Welcome to Kaleidoscope. Let's talk. Who would have thought love cake would make a mark in English literature? Well, now it has. This year's Gratiaen Prize was won by Ramya Jirasinghe for her work Father Cabral's Recipe for Love Cake. A poet, fiction and non-fiction writer, Ramya also won the Sri Lanka State Literary Joint Award in 2011, has been longlisted for the Fish Poetry Prize and joint runner-up to the Guardian Orange First Words Prize in 2009. An avid writer, she was also featured in Times Online 2009 for contemporary war poetry. Ramya joins me in the studio today, a couple of weeks after her prestigious win, to break things down in true literary style. Ramya, congratulations, you won the Gratiaen Prize for 2023. Now, in your acceptance speech, you said that the Gratiaen has been elusive to you thus far. Explain a bit.
Well, I started very early submitting to the Gratiaen. In '98 was my first shortlisting, and then again in 2009 or 2008 I got shortlisted. So I've tried several times and never won. As Ashok Ferry used to say, always the bridesmaid and never the bride.
How long was this novel in the making?
3 months in the writing of it, but 15 years germinating. Well, it began, it was spur of the moment. There was a call from the Guardian UK for a paragraph to a fictional novel called The Letting Go. So I just sent it in. I wrote a paragraph and sent it in.
What is Father Cabral's Recipe for Love Cake about? What actually made you choose this to be the title?
Well, there is a love cake. There is a love cake in the book, but it's actually about the colonial encounter. And you know, the colonial encounter with spices and cinnamon and all that, which they used to make things out of. And it was, the whole trading empire was based on that. And we still have the leftovers of that. And the book is about that and how it changes and impacts people's lives.
What do you want your audience to take away from it?
That people living in countries like ours are never free from the history. Our lives are still marked and destroyed, mainly destroyed because of our history.
So, your genres are multiple: poetry, prose, fiction, non-fiction. Which genre is actually challenging and which is most rewarding?
Oh, the long form novel is the most challenging. For me, it's like drawing blood out of water, blood out of stone. You know, it's very difficult. The most rewarding is, I would have said poetry, but now I would also say drama, because you see it enacted on stage, which is very different, and that's very rewarding. You get the reward then and there, and you visualize how someone else sees it. You know, so drama is, I think, the most rewarding. It's immediate.
So let me get back to Father Cabral's Recipe for Love Cake. You told us about the germination. We know what the end is like. What happened in between? What was that process like?
Well, COVID happened, and so we were left with a block of time at home, and I got to write. So I got up every day and sat down for 4 hours and I wrote.
So your poems and prose have accompanied books of art and works of art. Tell me more.
Mainly Anuma Vijayavardhanas, and I'm actually quite grateful to Anuma because now maybe with the years I have acquired a body of work, but Anuma singled me out 15 years ago when no one knew my work, and I think it resonated with her work, and we worked together. She asked me to write for her paintings, and it was a lovely experience.
What is that process like? Do you look at the painting and then do the words flow, or how does it work?
You look at the paintings and then the words flow. And with Anumas, that's why I think we were very easy to work. It was easy for us to work together. The words just flowed. Yeah, especially for one poem, one collection of hers called The Deliverance, that really worked, yes.
So you've been writing a long time. Does anything surprise you about yourself as a writer, even after all these years?
Yes, I think what comes out of the whole writing process always surprises me, because you sit down, you know sort of the end, but how it ends, what happens in between, you can't really plan. And that's a surprising and very rewarding process.
Are you a disciplined writer?
When I have the time, yes. I can be very disciplined.
What themes do you gravitate towards? What sort of inspires you when you're writing? What is it that pushes you?
Now it's quite clear to me the broader historical context and how it impacts the person, the inner spirit of the person.
What are some of the observations that you've made about people through your writing?
That there's no one who's good or bad, entirely good or entirely bad. And we are all the result of what has happened to us in the past. And we're all battling those.
And what are some of the lessons you have learned in your whole writing process?
I don't know about the lessons from the writing process, but I can tell you the lessons from being a writer is that there are so many people who are there to support you in Sri Lanka and everywhere else. And that's very not just rewarding, that's very nice to know, that there are people around you.
Tell me about the chapter you wrote for Sirimavo, the book.
So that was commissioned by Miss Bandanayaka and Mr. Tissa Jayatilak edited it. And they invited people to contribute chapters. So I contributed about her work with the Mahila Samiti, which is very interesting to read because this was way before NGOs became trendy, She had done that. She was working with them and working in the development sector, what we call the development sector now. Yeah, so these people, characters like her, were way ahead of our times.
So what have you learned about yourself and Sri Lanka from your writing?
That Sri Lanka is a wonderful environment full of rich sources for a writer. It's full of stuff.
What, if at all, has been your most challenging piece of work?
This one. Writing a novel is a very hard business. It tells on your body. You have to sit for 4 hours, 5 hours, and it tells on your body, at least on an older body like mine. Yes, it tells on your body. So it was very challenging.
What is the best piece of advice you have got?
Editing. Editing is everything. Yeah. And also, you have to sit. You just have to sit down and write. You can't wait for inspiration.
I know there's a play coming up in August. Can you give us a little bit of a preview about it?
Yes, I'm thrilled because Mind Adventures by Tracy Holsinger. Tracy is directing it, and they are going to stage it for their 25th anniversary production. And it's about water and the scarcity of resources and what you can do with it to discriminate against people in a small state like ours. It's called Water for Kings. It's unusual. It's a poetic drama. And it's very, very visual in that sense.
So other than this, what's more in the pipeline for you?
Well, right now just sitting here being very grateful for what I've got and what the Gratiaen has done by giving me this recognition. But now and then I just want to get back to my writing.
Okay, good luck with everything and congratulations once again, Ramya.
Thank you.
Kaleidoscope is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. So make sure to subscribe and follow and like us for more.